Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Symphony, where I am highly pissed at Nate. Out the gate, let's get it out the way. I don't even know if I can be heard. Can I be heard? Can y'all hear me? Is that a thing? Can y'all be heard?
I'm still reeling from pissed at Nate out the gate. I mean, I'm going to get that tattooed right on my ass.
I'm going to assume that we can be seen and heard and continue on with my fury.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Beautiful.
I checked.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Symphony, where Bridgett hates Nate. Symphony Entertainment, Gaming, and Arts is my company that focuses on horror systems, indie games, organic content, hating Nate, and player agency in an attempt to bring a symphonic approach to horror role-playing. I am your host, Bridgett Jeffries, and tonight we are back playing Public Access, published by The Gauntlet. This is a 5-part series. You guys actually joined us all the way back in March. I can't believe it's May. This bad boy is going to be ending, I think, in June. I think our last recording is going to happen in June, or is it going to happen sometime this month? What are we looking at? No, it's this month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday following will be episode 5. So thank you guys so much for joining us along the way. This is being written and run by the guy that we all hate, which is your friend Nate. One quick announcement before we hop over to introductions. Symphony Entertainment does have a Patreon. So if you like this content and you would like to help us make more of it, please consider backing us on Patreon like this entire cast has done, which I really appreciate all of you sincerely, except for Nate. You can back us at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. So without further ado, let us unveil this cast. Cast members, please tell us who you are, where people can find you, some of the things you do, and one quirk that one of your pets has. And we are going to start off with Don't Stop Me Now.
That's me. Hi, I'm Miranda. On a range of indifference to outrage, that's how I feel about Nate on most days, is what I would say. Sometimes some call us friends. Some I would say frenemies is probably more like it because he commits crimes of war against me on a regular basis on Discord, and I think most people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? Oh, you can find me over on the Old Ways podcast where I play Delta Green, also with Nate. Soon you'll be able to find me on Roll Better, also with Nate.
Hey!
Can't get rid of the guy. So that's what, June 17th. We're working on, getting our first episode put together, and so that's super exciting. And find me over on the Miskatonic Playhouse as well. And quirky thing about my pets. Which one? My dog is super neurotic. He's not my emotional support animal. I'm his emotional support human.
There we go.
And it's very tough business in my house to emotionally support a 70-pound dog that was scared of the kitchen for a while, which is where his food is. But for whatever reason, he was scared of it. So.
Okay. I like this. Scared of kitchen. This works. Taking us over to Tiffany, who I actually love. Tell us who you are, where people can find you, some of the things you do, and a quirk about one of your pets.
I am Tiffany, and I can be found at Color Cat Designs on all the social medias. Right now I am currently starting to cast plaster skulls for the season so that I can get into the art shows and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also researching what cons I might be at, like maybe Chaosium Con. Yeah. The quirk, I think Miranda and I must have the same dog because my dog's the same way. And the worse my anxiety gets, the worse his gets. So we're both getting old and anxious together. So he was supposed to be my emotional support dog. And he isn't.
He's so handsome, though. That is Auntie Bridget's baby right there. Nate forces me to do introductions. So hi guys, my name is Bridgett Jeffries. You can find me over on this platform called Symphony Entertainment, where I do a lot of things from actual plays to publishing to podcasting to all types of fun things. Fun quirk about my dog. This is the overshare of the day, but here we go. We were talking about dogs right before this went live, and that's how I came up with this question. My middle child is a French bulldog, which we know they're brachycephalic, which means they constantly have gas. And she does have gas all the time. That's not the quirk. That's just standard for the breed. Her quirk is she sharts. Usually about twice a week. So if she farts, there's an 80% chance this much of a turd is going to come out. It's pretty consistent. It's weird to watch. She stays completely asleep through the entire time. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've woken up in the morning. It was like, oh, she sharted in her sleep again. So yeah, that's my Zoe. My vet doesn't care. I have learned not to care. Zoe sharts in her sleep. Yep, that's good times. And now for our GM and that guy, Nate. Tell us who you are, where people can find you, some of
but
the things
not
you do,
least,
and your quirk.
right? Last but not least, last but certainly not. I'm Nate. I'm feeling great. Bridgett, see you at Gen Con. Let's make it a date. You know, us on this podcast tonight, it was just fate. I'm really glad that none of us were late. Come on, Bridgett. There's no need to hate. On this game tonight, your fate will skate on how well you roll and how well you role play. And please, Bridgett, I hope you keep taking my bait. That's all I have for you.
Oh my God.
I'm your friend Nate on all the Discords as well. Cast member on the old ways. And here, Miranda and I go all around in our Delta Green campaign. And I'm just enjoying this. You know, you gave me your shitting bulldogs, so I had to like come up with something else to sort of follow on that.
You had to
I'm
spit
also
some mad 49-year-old man rhymes.
Just one word rhymed. Yeah, I'm off my name. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I thought it was pretty good.
Taking Tylenol.
Let's get started.
Wait, did we get a quirk from you? We want a quirk about one of your pets.
Yeah,
I'll get you a
talk
quirk.
about your dogs.
I got two dogs. I got a Frisbee and a Griffin, both named by my kids. Frisbee was going to be named all sorts of different toys. I think ball and basketball and some other, just everything when they were in. But he's old. And so he's gotten to the point most of the time, if he gets up and he moves, just like we're talking about just walking, and he's a puggle, so he's sort of small.
Up.
He will stop at one point and he'll do like 6 coughs as if he's going to throw up. He does this constantly all day long. Take him to the vet many times. The vet's seen it. The vet's tested. But what it is every single time this happens, now that we don't hear it, people that see it or hear it else, they're like, oh my God, your dog's going to throw up. And we just don't even, we just ignore it because it happens so
blind to it.
And I was watching, I don't remember what movie, but I was watching a movie where this was happening. Like there was a dog and the dog was making noise and the dog throws up and everyone ignores it except for the guests. And I'm like, oh shit, that is Nate's house. That is this situation. I got to start noticing this again when people are over. Because so that's one quirk of the old dog Frizzy. He's like 14, 15.
Oh.
He's also at that stage where you walk by his bed and you're like, I'm gonna give you a little kick. Oh yeah, he's still here. He's still with us.
Still there.
Okay, that's good.
Yep,
Griffin's
kick.
Younger. Griffin's quirk is when the bus comes. My daughter's graduating high school this year. But when the bus comes down the street for like the elementary school or whatever, Griffin decides, oh, that's, Avery's coming. And so for an hour and a half, he's at the doors, he's whining, he's got a shoe. He's one of these retriever, waiting for and at first it's like, oh, that's adorable. Oh, that's so cute. And it's like, shut up, dog. Jesus. Every single day, it's the same shit. Come on. It's like an hour of you whining and crying. So that's my 2 dogs. 2 dogs, 2 quirks.
2 dogs, 2 quirks. Y'all send thoughts and prayers to this stream. This should be really good. One, Nate is brilliant at running this particular game, but one of us is tired, one of us is satiated, the other one is sweaty, and the other one is super tired. So we're going to do the best we can with what we got tonight. Content warnings have been discussed with the cast and crew. The X card is in play. X's can be sent via private message on the Zoom screen, or you can do it visibly where the table can see it. We will also be using the standard Symphony green, yellow, red traffic light method, which can be called by any cast member or any chat member at any time. If a safety tool is enacted, it is a no judgment passed, no questions asked situation. And with that, friends of the Symphony, I hand it over to your friend Nate.
Last time on Public Access, you answered a question. Public Access is a mystery solving game, and you answered your first question. Your question, let me read it directly. But your question that you answered is, what happened to the missing documentary crew? and you answered it. The veil between Deep Lake and other places has always been thin. Vistatech Ventures, a tech company's been working on something that has torn holes in this veil. Whether or not this is intentional, we don't know. Because the veil's always been thin in Deep Lake, there are people who know about this other side and have experienced this other side. And this leads to things like the graffiti that you all saw on the wall in the Circle K. Almost targeted towards you, but had been there long before you ever visited. The people that know about this know you mustn't look at these things that pass over. You mustn't give them the attention they crave that strengthens them. Lucas Grant's great-grandfather had seen them before, and he'd even drawn some of the things that he'd seen. There's a charcoal drawing that you discovered in the Airstream trailer that references that. That charcoal drawing shared with everyone within our Discord community. If anyone looked closely, has some strange, unfamiliar pieces, especially for a great-grandfather that drew it in charcoal. Lucas Grant's great-grandfather saw things that maybe shouldn't have even existed when he drew that picture, but that's neither here nor there. Lucas knew all about this, but he didn't tell the others that were with him. He brought them to make this documentary at Deep Lake, but his real purpose he kept hidden from the rest. It's what they were really looking for, answers to this question. The problem going to this other place is that stuff comes back sometimes. And the things that come back are twisted, they're wrong, they're caricatures of the familiar. This causes all kinds of paranoia and fear across the town. And the problem this poor documentary crew fell into is sometimes you go too far. If you go too far, you can get lost. You might not find your way back. This is what happened to that crew. They are lost and they cannot find their way back. This is your answer that you created to the question, what happened to this documentary crew? And you rolled on this, and you rolled an 11, which is a pure and simple success. Everything that you said in that answer is fact. So this is the truth of the situation that we now face in Deep Lake. The three of you had traveled from the Starlight Motor Lodge after a quick pit stop to the Circle K to those GPS coordinates that Derek, the production assistant that you had met in the motel, had given you, the site of that documentary crew's shooting location. You'd driven and then walked a tiny little bit into this camp, and you'd seen the setup, Airstream trailer that was serving as a temporary and mobile production facility. The camp itself set up, a fire pit. You saw the cave that was the target of the documentary crew. Hadn't really gone in to explore that yet. And you'd also notice that this campsite, this place was wrong. It was off somehow. It wasn't the kind of site you'd expect from a skilled professional documentary crew who had done this kind of thing over and over. It was almost like a copy, just a pretending to perform the familiar actions, putting away the food and the water and setting up the camp and securing the equipment and making things available. Everything at first glance looked like it was done well, but after it all fell apart under scrutiny. Inside the Airstream, after you had gone through, rummaged a little bit, done some investigation, had your conversation, come up with your answer, before you could even really let that sink in and really let that new truth fill you, a ruckus from outside drew you all to the window. And you all watched a woman in very nice business suit attire, not suited to the desert, but very expensive, very well dressed, but also very nice hiking boots. So there was some attention to where this person was going. She was, I guess the best way to word it would be, she was screaming in terror as she had been pulled from behind, something that you couldn't see, back into that cave. And that is where we left last time, and that is where we will begin tonight. That has just happened. Jordan, Crystal, Megan, the next steps are all yours.
Fuck, 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 fuck. What the fuck was that?
I scream just out of the sheer jolt and just surprise of it. And I begin stumbling backwards until my back or my hips or my ankle lands into something.
Hold the Airstream door shut.
Crystal's probably just standing there like glassy-eyed. Like, I don't know what to do. Is
Jordan,
any
the
of it
door-
worth anything?
The door shuts with the solid nature of any RV, meaning not much. The barrier between you and whatever's out there feels flimsy.
Ugh.
And Megan, you've knocked into one of the tables that was covered with tapes and equipment and drawings and stuff. A couple things clatter down to the floor. Nothing heavy, nothing expensive, but pencils, a couple papers, maybe a tape or two. And Crystal, glassy-eyed, you're looking out and you can hear this faint tapping on the outside of something, of hands just gently tapping on the aluminum shell of that Airstream trailer. You don't see anything, but you can hear it.
I'm holding that door shut.
Is there like most of them have like a skylight, like vent thing?
It has a vent on the top. Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna grab a chair and try and get on top of the Airstream.
The vent isn't like a sunroof sized vent. It's maybe, I'll give you, if this was Call of Cthulhu, I'd have a luck roll right now. It's maybe 16 by 16 inches. So you could probably squeeze through, but it's going to be a little bit tight. And if you want to squeeze through, you can give me a day move.
Ooh.
Okay.
If you fail, you will probably fail to get your way through and fall down to the ground and maybe suffer a minor injury.
All right. So
Jordan's, nothing is pulling against that door, even though you're white knuckled, leaning back.
Oh, okay. So it's just the 2d6, correct?
2d6 and give me a vitality.
Okay. That's an 8.
8 total?
Yes.
All right. So in a day move, 7 to 9. Keeper will tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable. You can choose to back down or go through with it. It's difficult to get that last pull because you can hardly get both of your hands out. So you have one arm and you've got one that's still inside, and so you don't have all the leverage that you might want. If you go through with this, it's going to leave you just terribly exposed for 4 or 5 seconds as you scramble out onto the roof. You can choose to go through with that or back off.
I'll go through with it.
Megan, you can see Crystal. She's moving up and climbing out. Are you doing anything about that, or what's Megan's
after
move?
I've knocked into that table and tapes hit the floor and crash, I think one of the things I let go of involuntarily was that sketch, that drawing that I was so enamored with. And that just falls onto the ground and immediately gets blended and scurried in with just like the heap of everything. And there's this weird moment where I'm super terrified about whatever is between us and this thin sheet of metal. And then also, how did I lose something that precious? And there's this weird, almost like toggling that I'm going through when something cuts through the sheer panic of just my reality at the time. And it's that don't look at them, don't record them, don't pay attention to them. And that rings through my pure terror like a bell. And it's about that moment that I realize that Crystal has gone outside. And there's a very strong likelihood that she's either going to look at them, record them, or pay attention to them. And I think I'm just going to like immediately reach and grab for her foot, probably as it slips out of my reach, or if I can even grab it because she's all the way through, and I'm just going to yell, Crystal, wait, no, don't.
Crystal, you are face to face with a small child who has crawled on top of this Airstream trailer. Blonde, scraggly hair. You can see dirt crusted across her face. She's looking directly at you, straight into your eyes, and she smiles, and she smiles, and she smiles wider and wider and wider. And she begins to, with that same soft tap tap noise that you had heard before, move toward you. Something grabs your ankle. You hear yelling, and something's pulling you as well. And the child is getting closer and closer. And it's not that she has teeth, Crystal. She has light glinting off the inside of the split in this thing's face.
I will then scream and put both arms up like you're trying to, like, a little toddler getting their shirt off, and try and fall back through the vent.
And you easily do that. The top thing closes. None of you, Jordan, Megan, you didn't hear any of the scrabbling that Crystal heard. Maybe it was because there was too much screaming going on otherwise. But this is when, Crystal, you're going to take a condition. The condition is just going to be sprained knees, because you're going to hit the ground of this Airstream, and you are sort of trying to climb, and it's going to be with your legs bent slightly, and your knees are going to collapse underneath you immediately, and you're just going to hit really hard on the ground of the Airstream trailer. Megan, you've pulled Crystal out. There's a brief moment, Megan, with that opening. It seems to darken a little bit and then get back to light. It's got that frosted glass, or frosted plastic, actually, in the top, so you can't really see clearly out of it, but it's like a cloud passes over it briefly, and then it's clear.
What the fuck, Crystal? What are you doing? Going up? What do you do? What are you doing?
I didn't think that they could fly, could spider crawl. Anyway, there's a girl up there. Don't go outside.
No, there's not. Fuck that thing.
Wait, there's a girl outside?
Sort of.
There ain't no girls out in this desert. Well, okay, there's 3 girls out in this desert, and then 1 in the cave, and that's all that we can count on, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was kind of like, remember the video Black Hole Sun and the smiling from Soundgarden?
Okay.
She smiled like that.
Yeah, that's not a girl.
Okay. Nope. I think we can all agree that that's not a girl. Okay.
She was a girl shaped.
It was
Okay, I accept that. I fully accept that.
Same.
I reach over and I click the little lock on the door, the teeny tiny one.
It's a little plastic latch so that the wind doesn't blow the thing open, and yeah, you secure it.
Also, side note, I'm gonna have to sit here on the floor for a little while.
You can feel with your heartbeat blood in your knees and on your legs. It's just really painful and achy right now.
I think I could probably make you feel better. Just let me know when you're ready for that.
I don't know that you're gonna make my knees not swell up to the size of grapefruits, but
No, but I could probably make them feel better. I'm just saying, whenever you're ready for some tender loving care like my mama used to give me, just let me know.
I am very slowly going to also slide down to my knees and then roll over onto my hips and then all the way flat on my butt. And I'm just going to sit next to Crystal because I saw her come down and I don't even want to think about, nothing is okay right now. Whatever happened out the window is not okay. Whatever is on the roof is not okay. What is happening inside of this Airstream is not okay. And I can't stop wondering while I'm on the ground if I could possibly find that picture. But
it's fine. We live here now.
Hey,
We live here now.
yeah.
This is. There's probably food. We can survive a while. I think.
Maybe. I mean, is there actually food? Did we actually see food? I just saw dirt and dust and sand.
Good point. And it's been a while, so.
Also, do you think maybe we could take one walkie-talkie and throw it out there and like talk to them through the walkie-talkies? Maybe they'll go away?
Maybe.
What do you think they're
Or-
doing to her? Where do you think they took her?
They took her
Cave.
probably through to the place where everybody else went.
Well, to the other side, right?
Yeah. Like, did we see? Did they show us? No. We just saw the drawings.
We couldn't see the thing that grabbed her, but if it's like a shadow from the other
Right.
place, then maybe we can't see it over here, but we can only see it over there. I mean, that could be the case. We could just, or it's remember all the weird stuff that's been happening where like there's shadows outside or they're things, but they're not really there, but we can't fully see them realized. It might be like that.
Are we going to help her?
Well, we have to like run past whatever's here. And I can't run now. This hurts really bad. But I don't know how to react because all of this is so messed up. I don't know what to do. Maybe we can negotiate for her return with the walkie-talkies. Maybe. I don't know.
No, that's at least something. And I'm going to look to see if I can find one of these walkie-talkies. And if I can find one, Nate, this is going to be one of the fastest. I pick that thing up, I turn it on, I go to the door, I flip that lock, and I just chuck it out, and then immediately close the door and shut it again.
It's going to be in my satchel.
We have a metal move from you.
That ain't what I
And
wanted
this
to
is
hear.
more to find stuff. So you're digging through because you're looking for your charcoal drawing. Now you're looking for this walkie-talkie.
All right, my love. Latch keys for a metal move. Which stat do you want?
It feels like composure right now. Usually be reason, but this really feels like composure
You like composure for this?
move.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a
Yeah.
sum of 9.
That's not bad. That's not bad. So on a 7 and 9, there is a complication. And I'm going to say for this, your complication is you accidentally, as you're looking for the walkie-talkies, maybe you're getting back up off the floor. Maybe you're even just getting on your hands and knees, whatever. But as you're moving off of sort of this reclined position, you hear a little bit of a rip and you find that charcoal drawing because you've just put a little bit of a rip in it. You haven't ripped it in two, but your complication is put a little bit of a rip in it. You do find the walkie-talkies that you had brought. And you also find a capital C clue, which is an iOmega zip drive. Remember, this is 2004, so these were in fair use. And that is the precursor to a USB drive. It's physical media, very common with production and music, video creation. And that is something that once you can take a closer look at and see what's on it, might give you more. And then you're going to attempt to open that door and throw something out and close that door really quickly.
That is absolutely the goal.
All right. Once you
I'm
go
just
and
gonna tuck and cover while she does that because I
Right.
can't move.
you go back, you go over to the door where I would assume Jordan is still sort of close to that door, maybe even still holding it shut. I'm not sure. Are you?
Megan, I can so I can like pull it open and you throw and I'll shut and then it's a and then it'll go faster.
I ripped the painting. I'm
Oh.
sorry, what?
Okay. I don't think they'll care. I think that'll be okay. I think in the grand scheme of things, I think that's fine.
I didn't mean to. Do you want to go on 3?
Mm-hmm.
God, I heard it rip. Do you think they have tape here or glue?
I really think it's gonna be
I'm
okay.
just sliding.
But I think it's gonna be okay. And yeah, there's probably tape and glue all over this place. So I think it's gonna be okay. After holding the door, I think it's gonna be okay. I think we can fix it real fast. Just as soon as things calm down. So you have all the pieces, then we're fine. It's fine.
Okay. I didn't look to see how badly it was ripped. I don't know if it went all the way through. It didn't.
Okay. Yep. I think it's gonna be okay, Megan. I really do. We get this out there, right?
Yeah. Let's get it out. That
Okay.
was Crystal's idea. Crystal has really good ideas.
Uh-huh.
And so far, it's been communicating with tech, right?
Yep. Well, the tech kind of caused the problem, but I think, but you know, we've reached the other side with technology before, so I think it's a sound idea.
Okay.
I mean, as long as we get more than screaming this time, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, just getting real close to that cave.
Okay. I'm going to do everything I can to focus on, now that I'm not holding the door myself, I have assistance, to chuck this thing directly into the mouth of this cave. I am going to channel every ounce of athleticism and aim and marksmanship that I have to focus on just chucking this walkie-talkie as deep as I can into the mouth of the cave where that woman was snatched up and where this torn drawing is somewhere behind me.
Yeah.
Megan, what are you afraid will happen if this doesn't succeed?
It's so amazing how immersed I am right now because I immediately was like, what if I can't fix the painting? I'm assuming you're talking about the walkie-talkie.
Yes.
If this doesn't succeed and we can't successfully negotiate her return or our escape, we're going to be
just the toss, just this
just the
physical
toss?
motion. What are you afraid will happen if the toss towards the cave doesn't work as you wish?
If it doesn't work, that's my fear, that we're not going to be able to establish communication and that we're going to end up just like that last crew, vanished and forgotten.
I think it's worse than that, Megan. I think the problem is if it doesn't work, it's not going to work because your throw is going to be a little wild. And the throw is going to be a little wild because as you throw it, you're going to pass through the threshold of this airstream a little bit and something's going to grab you and pull. And it's going to pull so strong, Megan, that the walkie-talkie landing where you're aiming at will be the least of your concerns. So why don't you go ahead and roll me that night move with fatality.
My vitality is a 0. I rolled a 3.
Jordan, what is your response when Megan, you open the door on 3, maybe you didn't figure it out. Was it on 3 or is it on 3, then plus? Maybe you didn't do that. Something went wrong. But what's Jordan's response when Megan is pulled and she slams into the wall of the Airstream, and then you are sprayed with blood from where her arm used to be.
My response is I grab Megan, pull her back, but I have left the door wide open. I have completely forgotten about the door as my limbless companion is in my arms, bleeding out from this gaping arm wound, and I've pulled her in, leaving the door wide open, leaving myself and Crystal vulnerable to whatever is out there.
A small bit of good news, Megan, you don't have to worry about that vulnerability as you bleed out quickly. Unless you'd like to turn a key.
Okay. Let's turn a key. Talk me through it.
So you can turn a key on your latchkey sheet. You have keys of the child, keys of desolation. So far, this group's only turned one key, so you have many keys. So any of those key of the child, you choose one. We won't go through the flashback now, but each one is a flashback. And turning the key, they're a limited resource. You can only use them once as a group, but turning the key will raise the success of this dice roll one level. So instead of this 3, this terrible failure, which leads to Megan's death in the Airstream trailer, it will be a success with some sort of complication. Much, much better.
Okay.
So which key would you like to turn?
I am going to turn the flashback to when I felt genuine happiness as a child.
Excellent. You will owe us that flashback to some point in the future. We're not going to do it now because it's not appropriate, I don't think, now to think about that. So instead of the failure, and this was a night move, obviously, it was deadly. So instead of that failure, you do what you intended, but there's a complication or cost. The walkie-talkie flies in a wide parabola towards that cave entrance. And the cave entrance is pretty far away, and also the adrenaline coursing through your body probably lends that throw a little more strength than you expected. And you can see when the walkie-talkie hits the ground, the battery case on the back of it slip off.
Oh, God.
And then you can see the battery, the 9-volt battery on that little cord, on the little wire hanging out. You're not sure if it's still connected or not. It doesn't look broken. It doesn't look, the battery didn't fling off into the darkness, but it definitely had a small complication with your throw.
Well, I'm gonna turn on the other walkie-talkie and see if I hear anything.
It squelches, it has that staticky noise. And then it's silent as you dial in a channel or frequency.
What was her name? Lauren? Her sister, Aaron's sister? Laura?
Jenna
Jenna.
is Aaron's
right.
sister. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask in the walkie-talkie if I'm just going to talk into it and say, Jenna, are you still there?
There's no response. There's no response. How long will you wait for a response?
Probably only like a minute or two. Because then I'll assume that the walkie-talkie's broken, maybe.
The 3 of you, Crystal has the walkie-talkie, and the other 2 possibly just circled around waiting. That's 120 long seconds. And it's silent. A couple times you can hear wind. You don't feel it. You don't hear sand coming up because remember, you're sort of in this little protected area in the desert, but you can hear the wind over top. Nothing, nothing, nothing. You get no response.
Okay. I guess that didn't work.
I have this horrible feeling that we're gonna have to sleep in this Airstream. I don't know if I trust going into the cave at night, and oh wait, but she's in there right now.
Mm-hmm.
She might already be dead. Let's be honest. She might not be alive anyways. Or they could all be dead. They could all be alive, just in that other place. So,
should we try to talk to the girl on the roof, or is she
Ugh.
them? Is that don't pay attention to them?
I can't imagine that's not them.
Right. That's bad news bears.
Though we did just try to pay attention to them because we were going to communicate, right? And so
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we've already towed that line a little bit.
Yeah, but nobody actually communicated with us.
Yeah.
There's a click on the walkie-talkie as you say that.
We all.
And it's just the sound when you hold the button in and then let it go. No voice. But there's just that click. And then click, 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 click. And it starts to click. Short and long holds.
Wait, I know this should mean something, but I don't know it.
There's no way this is Morse code, right?
Megan, this is your thing, isn't it? This is your stuff. This isn't my stuff. I just have matching sneakers, but your boot cut in boogie. So I think this is your thing, Megan.
Is this Morse code, or is this thing just eerily fucking with us? Or both?
Is that a question to me, or is that a question to Crystal or
that's
Jordan?
a question to you, good Nate.
Crystal, this sure as hell sounds like Morse code. Are you a ham club geek by chance?
I would think so, considering I have walkie-talkies and other things of the sort.
It takes a second, and then you realize, oh my gosh, this is Morse code.
Get me a piece of paper and a pen.
And I will tell this group, this is the second time you've encountered Morse code. It's the first time you've noticed it.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Maybe you were more obvious about it this time.
Well, of course, that is the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it stops. And then it starts and does what you think, Crystal, is the same sequence again.
Okay,
and
can I write it?
Write it all down, and yeah. And it takes a second, and you realize, oh, one of the spaces is probably actually a word space, not. And it says, "We see you."
Okay, then I will talk into the walkie-talkie. Who is we?
Ugh.
You have to wait a little bit again, and then dash dot dash dash dot 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 dot. And you know that says yes.
Okay. I don't understand that as an answer. Huh.
Ask it what it wants from us.
What? Okay. What do you want?
And again, you have a little bit of time, a few seconds to wait, and then it answers you. And now you're getting back into sort of that cadence, the rhythm, and everyone has their own style. And you realize this Morse code, there is a style. There's a signature to how you communicate with this. And whatever it is you're talking to, they also have a style. It's becoming easier for you to perceive and communicate with this entity. And this answer is a little bit longer. It says, we want what you have. We hate what we have. We want what you have instead. And this is a clue, capital C clue. We want what you have. We hate what we have. We want what you have instead.
So they either want our skin or they want our plane of existence.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go small to large.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or they want these really cool tapes we have. That's a possibility. Of which
Yes.
Miranda purchased some VHS clamshells, and I'll give you one guess where they are. They're where I left my notebook last week.
Oh.
They're in my car.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, this makes me think you never actually owned VHS tapes, because that is recipe for a nice 90-degree day, and now your
It's
shit's
not
all
90 degree
ruined.
now. It's
Ruined.
not 90
Oh,
degrees.
it'll
It's
do that.
fucking, it hasn't yet.
It'll do it just to mess with your tapes.
I leave a case of soda in my car over the winter.
It doesn't explode?
She was like, climb into my trunk and
Who
find
fucking,
out.
who
I think that
fucking
was
cares?
a yes.
Who
That was
cares?
a yes. It
Is
does.
it who cares? I do not need Karate Kid 3 on VHS. I just want the clamshell. So they want our bodies, or our lives, essentially. I mean, like this place,
Yeah.
or just.
I mean, I'll go with tapes. Maybe they want the tapes.
Your description of the kid makes it seem, or the thing on the roof made it seem like it doesn't quite have the same life force as us. Maybe this is they move the bodies, but they didn't, or they move the headstones, they didn't move the bodies. They want our life essence, like our. I mean, it's the same thing. We're saying the same thing.
Okay.
They don't want to poltergeist us.
And then the walkie-talkie falls silent. And whatever you might talk or say to it, it doesn't respond. There's no more clicking. There's no more noise. And Megan, when you look out, now you can see that, no, the battery actually did disconnect from that walkie-talkie. It was never powered up.
Of course.
Yep. I'm staring at that detached battery. Okay, ladies. We only have a handful of options here, at least that I can see.
Mm-hmm.
We face this head on, we go into the caves.
Mm-hmm.
We stay here with whatever water is in this airstream, the food's outside. We sleep here, we unpack here, we figure out our next steps, or we make a break for the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to turn around and put my back towards the detached battery. And I'm going to look at the two other women here in airstream with me. It's like, what do you guys want to do?
Well, I can't run. I don't even know if I can stand. I haven't even gotten up yet.
I'm just saying, I feel like I can help you with that.
Okay. Things that we can explore and experiment. Now, let's get you onto your feet.
Okay. So, Crystal, when I was a kid and I used to fall down and get hurt or like sprain my ankle or like roll it, you're about to feel a lot of nostalgia. My mom would always like kind of like rub it for me. You know, you do that thing with the parent where you like hold on it and you kind of like bend it a little bit and you've rested a little bit already and kind of rub your leg, and I'm kind of sitting down next to Crystal and manipulating her, and she'd always distract me with a nice song from one of my favorite TV shows. And so she'd sit and she'd rub my leg and she'd just sit but right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip. This is probably not good for us right now. That started from this tropic port aboard a tiny ship, or an airstream, that's fine too. The mate was a mighty sailing man, skipper brave and sure. I think that's Megan. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. See, it's all better now. It's a long way from your heart.
When you have an intimate moment with another latchkey while one of you is waxing nostalgic about something that takes you back, you may each clear an appropriate condition. In this situation, I must point your attention towards this very important word in this definition of the move, appropriate condition. And I need to know, Jordan and Crystal, how this moment appropriately clears Crystal's very, very severe
I
physical
did the parent thing.
damage.
I was like, it's not as bad as you think it is. And then it's not. It's mind over matter.
Oh,
That or
you
she's
did
not
the walk it
paranoid
off.
anymore.
That's
Yeah, I did. It's
dope.
that's
It
why
is
I said
the walk it off.
it's a long ways
You
from your
walked
heart,
it
is
off.
what my dad always used to tell me. So I just mess around with it a little bit, and I sing a song as a distraction, and
not
then
that
I say
bad.
it's a long ways from your heart. Get back in there, champ.
That is the best heel action I've ever seen in gaming.
I mean,
Ever.
it's better than what I do to my kid, which I ask her if we need to amputate.
Yeah, that's the other option.
We need to take it off? Is that where we are?
Is
Okay.
it? How bad is it? Are we
Because
gonna
she'll
have
come
to cut
with
it
like
off,
the tiniest
Crystal?
cut, and I'll be like, "So, do we got to amputate?"
It's worse than
Evan
we
is
thought,
like, I do
Crystal.
that too.
The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, that's you, Crystal, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. See? You're so brave. You saved the minnow.
Yeah.
Do we get her to her feet? Is it not
That
as
is
bad
so
as we thought it was?
beautiful. It's so wonderful. You get her to your feet. Crystal, the pain shoots through you. You're able to stand, but you are very correct when you say there's no way you're going to be running, and you're probably going to need at least one, maybe two of your friends on either side to support you, but you can walk. You probably shouldn't be, but you might have to right now, so you can walk.
Okay. I'm still gonna need your guys' help,
That's fine.
We're here for
That's
you.
fine.
but I gotta.
Should we be doing this at night? I'm still just me, Jordan, going out there at night. It feels scary.
Yeah,
I'm not
but we
saying I'm
haven't.
scared of them, but
I agree, and things are like weirder at night, but it seems like at night is the only time we have gotten any answers.
That's because the monsters are around because we can't see them because they're hiding in the night because they're shadows and everything's a shadow and
Right.
yeah.
So the three of you answered a question. It did unlock your next question.
Hey, yeah, it did.
Your next question is, how can you repair this veil and stop these shadows from crossing over into Deep Lake? That is also complexity 4.
Okay.
And so that means as soon as you have 2 clues, you need at least half the clues. So as soon as you have 2 clues that you want to use, you could attempt to answer that. And the mechanics around rolling we went through last time as well. If you answer this one, you open up an opportunity that you can pursue. So the first question just opened up the second question. This question opens up an opportunity because it is the last question for this mystery. The opportunity, if you answer this, is to perform whatever actions are required to heal the tear in the veil between our world and this other, which has not been named. And you may even have a possibility of bringing at least some of the crew back.
Okay.
Okay. How about this? We don't go out at night. Make Jordan feel better. Because all of us should be tip top. It'll give me more time to have my knees, hopefully, in a better working order. But I thought I saw one of you had a zip drive.
Mm-hmm. And this other tape.
Okay. Well, I have my laptop here. That will play the zip drive. I don't
Okay.
have anything to play a tape.
They have equipment here to play the tape. As I'm looking at the tapes that I've been stepping on.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of equipment to play tapes, record tapes, and edit tapes, and yeah, it's a mobile production studio.
Well, we know the
And they're-
tapes are at night, right?
So far, yes.
The Odyssey tapes.
Yeah.
Didn't someone say it was nighttime? I, Miranda, don't know what time of day it is anytime.
So what time? Let's clarify that real fast. Nate, what time of day is it right now?
It's about 3 p.m.
3
I
p.m.
will. I felt like someone said night.
I'm sorry,
p.m. is
Miranda.
fine.
I thought when you were saying that, I thought you were talking about waiting until night to do this. Not that, oh, it's night, let's not. That's why I didn't say anything at that point.
Nope.
It just
it's okay.
clicked.
That's all right. Oh, that's fine then. If it's daytime, I'll go in that fucking cave.
Yeah, it's mid-afternoon.
Maybe I might have gotten thrown off by us doing night moves, which are just dangerous moves
Which
and not necessarily.
I think that's what got me
Yes.
to a night move. I keep in my head. It's
Yep,
nighttime.
yep, yep,
Okay,
yep.
so-
Megan had a night move because that was a dangerous move. You were in the middle of a attack,
yeah.
That's right.
and that's why that was a night move.
That's
Okay.
I think that's what threw me off.
So 3:00 in the afternoon. Jordan is okay going to the cave in the middle of the day, despite everything that we've seen, which somehow makes sense to me too. The tape we should play at night. Crystal is right about that. And we have this iOmega zip drive, which we could open now. That might give us some indication on what it is that we have that they want.
Yeah, I think we should gather as much information as we can before we head in there. So if we can look at this, I'll reach into my messenger bag and pull out my laptop.
Okay. Okay.
Good, because there is no power in the Airstream right now.
Oh, so it's
But your
hot as
laptop
shit
has
in this
power.
Airstream too.
It is very hot,
Mhm.
and maybe even a little. Let's just say the proximity of your friendship has developed a physical flavor as well,
Gross.
as you went through a very, very intense moment. Crystal, you pop your laptop open, you grab a portable, gosh, what was this, 2004, whatever the port is that you plug into. It might be a FireWire port on the side of the laptop, who knows? But let's just say that you find something that you can plug this portable drive in, and it spins up, and then it's full of, actually, let me double check this before I say any other words. Yes, it's full of audio files.
Uh-oh.
There's about 16 audio files, and they're all named like normal kinds of audio. There's a file format. There's probably a code that is that documentary code. They all have. There's a date and time code, very consistent. And it is set up so if you sorted it by name, these all would sort correctly by that name with the documentary and the time code. And then there's names, a bunch of different names of the files. And they're like B-roll outside cave, B-roll
Okay.
inside cave, first interview Luke, first interview Simon, etc. Things like that. And you click on one. Do you have speakers on this laptop, or is this headphones, do you think? It's up to you.
I'm trying to think. Probably headphones, because if I remember then, I think speakers were more expensive. Like your laptop would be
Mhm.
more expensive.
So you plug your headphones in to listen. So no one else can hear this, but Crystal, what you hear is that warbling sound when a cassette tape has sat out in Miranda's car and it's been too hot, and it still plays. It hasn't broken, but it's melted a little bit. And so the sound is there, but it's all warbly and fragmented. And the other, oops, I shouldn't touch my headphones. There's controls on the side, but the other two, you can see Crystal like pulling your headphones in to hear like what is going on, maybe scrunching up the face because there's almost another channel of audio that cuts in and out on some of these. So as the warbling goes up and down and the pitch is wrong, and these are digital files, but it's almost like, they're digital files on a physical media, but it's almost like they have been shifted and auto-tuned in certain places, and all the levels balance out. But then there's this underlying note through a couple, and you play a couple and they all have this same style of distortion and wrongness.
Okay. Do I think I can isolate it?
You probably could if you want to spend some time doing that.
Okay. I think there is something hidden in these audio files. So we can either choose to go in the cave, or you can let me spend some time and figure out what creepy message is hidden in here.
Nate, just very quickly looking out the window and looking up and then looking at my watch. How much daylight do I think we have?
You have hours of daylight, Megan. Don't even worry about it.
Let's see how far you get. We have some time before the sun sets.
Okay. Then I will find a spot to sit and do this.
So Crystal's going to work on processing these audio files. Megan and Jordan, you're going to hang out in the Airstream and wait?
I think I would help Megan try to get that picture back together that she tore. She's very worried about it. And Megan, while Crystal's working on that, let's see if we can find some tape. We can find some stuff. We can get that picture back together for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll clean out a workspace for it because this little small tear requires a full operation. And I appreciate the fact that Jordan intimately understands that. I should be thinking to myself, wow, I'm officially as crazy as she is right now, except, versus like an Odyssey tape. It's this picture, but we're not delving into that right now. Right now, I feel seen. I feel supported. Jordan is looking for surgical repair items, and I'm going to clean off a workstation for us.
It's hard for me to help because I'm constantly juggling 2 Odyssey tapes in my arms as I'm trying to help you.
Yep.
I'm holding them like my babies.
And Megan, luckily for you, there's plenty of splicing tape.
Okay.
There's a lot of physical video tape that's used, and they still are doing some physical splicing and cutting, and that tape is pretty ideal for this. It's clear, it's solid, it's lightweight, and so you've got your tools. And Jordan and Megan sits down for craft time, and Crystal sits down for tune time. And you spend a couple hours. It's getting hotter and hotter in the Airstream, almost dangerously hot. Mm-hmm. There's sweat on all of you. You start to adjust how you sit so that none of your body parts are by any of the others, because you're just except for maybe Crystal, who's very focused in on this, and you got the headphones on, and maybe it's a small favor, a small little blessing that Crystal's task distracts her from the physical uncomfortableness of this. And you are able to, Megan and Jordan, during this time, you're able to effect a repair on this charcoal sketch that, Megan, tell me how how well it goes, and if it sort of heals this break that you were feeling.
I just get narrative. You don't want me to roll anything for it? You know when you're too close to a situation that if you actually move or interact with it, you're likely going to break it because you're just too interwoven into the moment. Jordan is a blessing in this particular moment because it gives me kind of like some space to step away from my baby. It's almost like if you're a parent bringing a young child with an injury into the ER, you know, the child is screaming, there's a lot of going on. The doctor's like, no, we're going to restrain this child. And you're like, no, you can't touch my baby like that. And he's like, okay, but the injury, you know, it's one of those type of situations. So having Jordan on the ground with me, I think it's the only thing that saves me because it gives me the distance to when I'm like being too overprotective or I'm saying, no, that's not like, I can just kind of take a step back, breathe, and trust the process and trust into a friend that I on some level knows is as broken as I am and as dependent and hyper attached to these physical items as I am. And I think between the two of us, we do a really remarkable job. This sketch is going to have a very minimal scar. It's going to heal well. In a couple years, you won't even notice it.
Outstanding. Crystal, you dive into whatever your favorite 2004 audio editing program is. You've got the waveform up. You're playing around with it. You're trying to both visually see what you think you hear. And you're thinking, well, maybe I'm just imagining this. It's been stressful. But there is something a little bit weird with the waveforms on these audio files that you're playing with. So you get in and you isolate, and you're pretty good with sound, and so you have an understanding of how humans hear sound, and you isolate a frequency in each of these tracks that is mostly too low for people to hear, and it's almost like brushing up against what our audible wavelength is. And so the first one that you're working with, you notice that and you grab that, isolate it, separate it out into its own track, and then you adjust that up into a frequency range that you can hear, well, humans can hear. And then you press play. And Crystal, I want you to paint the scene for us. What do you hear now that you have gotten some of these tracks or some of this audio audible?
no.
So if these are like from the interview tapes and things like that, I think that once I like pull out, what you hear is whispering, like, they're here, they're already here, let's keep them here, they haven't seen us yet, things like that. So basically you hear the background chatter that we normally wouldn't notice from inside
so it's
that
like
cave.
It's almost like a classroom that the kids are whispering about the teachers. And maybe that comes to mind because of your encounter, but also maybe it comes to mind because you've had to shift the range of all of these samples up. And so they all have sort of an unnatural high pitch so that you can get the full range. And yeah, it's a lot of whispering and gossiping that seems to be happening around whoever is being interviewed and is getting picked up on these open mics. And no one ever mentions or talks or says anything in any of the interviews that you're listening to. You'd have to spend, 6 or 7 hours if you wanted to listen to all of this. So you're not going to do that. But no one ever mentions anything about hearing or this. And you know that Simon was the sound engineer. And you're not sure if he ever noticed this. He didn't seem to be doing anything like you're doing. But yeah, you pull these tracks out. One thing you notice about all of this whispering, it's very weird and different in terms of how it is on the audio, but all the things that these voices are saying, they're very human-like. And they're very matter-of-fact, normal-ish. All three of you give me the condition. We'll take the condition overheated. As you finish your work, you're sort of dehydrated. You haven't hydrated correctly this day. And you've been locked inside. You've locked yourself inside this airstream with hardly any ventilation in a New Mexico desert.
Do I still have sprained knees as well?
You do
Okay.
for a day.
Okay, I
That's
just
what
want to
I'll
make
say.
sure I keep it
Yep.
on my sheet.
Yep. So tomorrow, Jordan's nostalgic move without any access to real medical equipment did help, but it didn't magically help. It'll take about a day for that to
Okay.
clear.
Did my nostalgic move make me not think about the monsters are hiding from me? My two conditions are tape head, which I refuse to erase,
Mhm.
and the monsters are hiding from you. And
Yeah,
I don't know
I think
if
you can
that's
clear
an
that one.
applicable one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this one I only, because it's so physical.
I
I feel like I needed a physical counter to it that we didn't have. So,
I know
yeah.
that was fair, but I had to get my song out for the stream, so.
And that also means what? I think that's very,
Like, that
I'm
was
feeling
brilliant.
nostalgic about that. Yeah.
Also, the monsters can't be hiding from you because we pulled them forward.
Well,
yeah, they're here.
Nate, is it a problem when you get to 4 or when you get to 3?
So when you have 3 conditions and you need to add a 4th,
Okay.
instead of adding a 4th, you turn a key.
Got
So
it.
if anyone is there, that's what starts happening is the keys start to be consumed.
But
Okay.
any of us can be nostalgic, not just me.
Okay. Yeah, but if we're not going to sing, I don't even want it. Okay.
Yeah.
You've set the bar so high. My
Sorry.
nostalgia can't touch your nostalgia.
No.
Okay.
And the last thing I'll say, when all this ends and stops or whatever, it's been a couple more hours and it's not nighttime. It's not even dusk, but the sky's definitely changing into that very almost topaz, sapphire blue that starts to happen. You're heading into twilight magic hour.
I wonder if, and I'm just throwing this out there, and I really hate to say it. I mean, they were here. They figured out what was going on. Like, that's what we've kind of determined is they knew they were going there and coming back. Maybe at one point they tried to stop it too. And maybe there's clues in the cave. Because they tried to stop it. And maybe they didn't finish it. I don't know. They were here for longer than us. They videotaped things.
Actually, did anybody see any notes from the sound guy here? Like maybe he heard something?
I'm happy to toss the place again.
Yeah, we can
If
look.
we didn't see any. Maybe
Nate,
they're
did we
in the
see 'em?
cave.
Tossing.
Okay.
No, but
Nope.
if you would like, you can give me a meddling move
Ooh.
to toss the airstream, specifically for
Tossing.
Simon Answell sound engineer notes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you want me to use?
For this one, let's go with our tried and true. No, let's go with reason.
Reason feels good.
Mm-hmm.
I got another 8.
All right, so a partial success on a medal. So let me see. The complication is you find so many sort of interesting things as you're tossing this that you spend another hour in the airstream. and you get Jordan and Megan involved, and I think it's more interesting and fascinating because now you're seeing many more examples of what Jordan just said. Oh, they knew. They were on, like, you start finding other little notes and scribbles that make you convinced that, oh yeah, they've seen, or they were starting to understand. But what I think what comes together after you spend another hour and you get through here, you go through the Airstream again, is a lot of those notes, they're all from Lucas.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, because he knew, but he didn't say.
Right. Yeah, you said his team up.
He thought. And he was getting more and more excited, but you can't find any motivation for that excitement, like why he cares so much. The charcoal sketch was there with the name, but he doesn't, unfortunately, there's no diary in the Airstream with Lucas's deepest thoughts laid out.
Master plan of, yeah.
In the last page, oh no, they're almost, and then a scrawl, that doesn't happen. You do find, I think your capital C clue will be a calendar, sort of a shooting calendar, storyboard calendar kind of thing, and it sketches out, and it's a weekly calendar split out into 3 sections. So morning, afternoon, evening, and they have like their plans. Oh, we're going to set up camp and get these shots here. And this is good time for these lighting moments. And each of the afternoon sections are explore the cave, footage of the cave, all that good stuff. But what you find is, Crystal, what you recognize is Simon's handwriting at this point, because now you've seen all 4 of their handwritten notes. And on the third or fourth day of shooting in this little weekly calendar, he's written it, and underneath the cave side, he was there again.
Ooh.
And your clue is a crew member mentioning an unexplained figure following or watching them.
Hey. Sorry, I'm writing it on my dry erase board since I don't have my notebook.
Ooh, the disrespect you just paid to yourself.
All right. That's how I roll. All right. Well,
Unexpected figure following or watching them. Okay.
in the cave, though, they were talking about the figure, right?
It was in the notes
Right.
around the shooting schedule within the cave. Yes.
Okay.
That is where Simon had sort of noted this on it looks like the 4th day.
Okay. I think what's left is to go look in the cave.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be our
And
final piece, or at least
look at
it'll
how
give us
dark it's
something.
gotten now. Look at how dusky.
Nate, I can clock it. How long do we have before sun actually sets right now?
Check your watch. Think about what the old Farmer's Almanac says for May 2004. You've got at least 2 hours.
What time is nautical twilight?
Well, you know what? I'll answer that.
He was like,
What
hold on.
time was
turn a key.
not
What
twilight on May?
the degree of
What is
light
this?
during nautical twilight is a constantly debated thing in my household.
June 8, 2000. That sounds like a fascinating debate.
It sure is. Still don't know what that nautical twilight
You know what,
means.
though?
How dark is that?
Miranda, I'm going to typically need astronomical data for the location.
Oh, yeah,
because it occurs when the center of the sun's between 6 and 12 degrees below the horizon, as we all know.
As we all know, clearly.
How dark is that? Okay.
Okay, guys, we have
I
2
could
hours.
easily find this information using online astronomical calculators or apps that provide this sun and moon data, but I'm not gonna.
But I'm
Okay.
not gonna.
Okay. So
We have 2 hours. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
Plus,
we
I have
we
to
can
get
get
out of
stuff
this
done.
Airstream.
Yeah.
We're
We
literally cooking.
emerge. We emerge a lot
Wait,
less
open the
clothes than we
door.
went in.
No,
Absolutely.
Slight breeze.
Only
I'm
it's
just
not
stopping to
sexy
think.
as we're coming out like dripping wet and only, partially clothed. It's not hot at all.
Well,
No.
Crystal is blazer over a hoodie. Do I have either of those articles at this point?
That's up to you, Crystal.
I probably have
Ugh.
the hoodie around my waist. Like a good 90s kid.
Yeah. Oh, thank God it's so hot in there.
And it's not cool outside, but oh, it's so much cooler that it feels like air conditioning.
I could taste you both. Ugh.
Mm.
That
Okay.
was uncomfortable.
For everyone. Okay. All right. It was also kind of charming. Okay, the cave. Let's go to the cave. We've got 2 hours. Let's see what we can piece together.
Yep.
Okay, but remember, I'm only hobbling. I'm only going so fast. Which might be beneficial so we don't go too deep in 2 hours.
I imagine this like us trying to help Crystal, but also it's gross because we're so sweaty and you don't really want to
Yes.
touch each other, but you're like, all right,
And
come
there's more
on,
skin,
it's so
you
More
don't want
a
to
lot of
skin.
like
skin. It's
touch.
clammy.
More heat.
It's so wet.
Yep.
Why
This
is
is
it
good.
so wet?
Oh, I think we can all use our own imaginations and picture this scene for as long or as short as we want to.
I mean, we can all taste the scene apparently, so we're good.
Jordan can. Yeah, there are 5 senses, and we
Yep.
want to use them all in horrible scenes
Yep.
like this.
Salty.
The other thing you notice with one of your senses, sight, is a lot of this started because of that woman that was dragged back into the cave, but there's no sign of that dragging on the ground.
But we definitely saw her get drugged
Absolutely.
in, not
And you heard
picked
her.
up. Okay.
Mhm.
This makes for a good point. Now that we're outside and we have like full 360 view, did she arrive in a vehicle? Is her car here?
You don't see another car. You can see your car, and you don't see another car. And you don't see footsteps off into the desert.
Wait, are they luring us in there?
Maybe because we've seen things that weren't real before. And what if she wasn't real? Because we didn't really see everything and it wasn't real and it's bait.
Right. So do we just collapse the entrance to this cave and like give them the middle finger and go home?
That is one option. I don't think that fixes everything because I don't think this is the only place they can come and go. Is my concern. And also I mean,
Well, we probably
could
want to go
maybe
get the
try to
crew.
get the crew back.
Yeah.
If we can find them, like in Poltergeist, if one of us wants to tie a rope to our waist and go in, and then maybe the other end is the airstream, and that's where you pull through the
Wait.
airstream.
For once, your horror movie reference is a good idea. That is a great idea.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Do we have rope?
There's like a lot of cable back there, I think.
Oh, yeah, there is. And
There's a
I know
ton
how
of
to
cable.
braid it so I can make it stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm staring at Megan while we're having this conversation.
And
Let's-
Megan is staring forward as she's putting puzzle pieces together. It looks like she might be onto something, or she might be spinning her wheels in the mud.
Mhm.
No, I think no, tying us down or yes, the rope or the cabling is a good idea. Jenna is the one that originally sent us the invitation to investigate her lost sister, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And we're all sure that's who we saw right here get snatched into this darkness, despite there being no evidence of it.
Yes. Mm.
What do we think Jenna's relationship is to Simon? Simon was the one that set everyone up, right?
No,
That was
Lucas.
Lucas, what do we think? Sorry. What do we think Jenna's potential relationship would be to Lucas?
I have not put any thought into that.
And I'm looking at the cave, and I'm almost like I'm taking a step forward, but I'm listening to the ladies talk, and I'm looking to that photograph. Not the photograph. I need to stop calling it a photograph. I look at the drawing that I have in my hand with the creature, or the creatures, the people with the ridge line in the background.
Are there...
Are you proposing that we, much like we were going to fishing pole one of us into there, that they possibly fishing poled Jenna to us?
Maybe, or Lucas wanted to get more people out. So if there's pictures or something that Lucas has of the two of them together, of him and Jenna together, maybe they were in this together.
Mm-hmm. Does that help us fix the problem?
No, it really doesn't.
Okay.
I don't think.
I mean, I like to think that maybe they were like, hooking up. That'd be fun. They're cute people.
Something feels off, guys. Something feels off, but something feels really right at the same time. Jenna's sister was entrapped by Lucas into this entire thing. She reached out to us for help. We're following the same patterns. We're repeating the same pattern. We're going through the same experience.
Yeah, but we are also assuming that was Jenna and not somebody else. We just jumped to that conclusion, to be fair.
Ooh, which makes me think, why do we know what Jenna looks like? Have we ever seen her before?
No.
So how are we so certain that that was Jenna that got snatched into the cave?
Felt right.
Yeah, I think something we couldn't hear told us it was Jenna.
Just a mutual feeling between all of us.
I don't like that.
Yeah. This is like, it's like one of those fish with the thing, and it's glowing, and then we go in the mouth.
Oh, yes.
An unexpected figure was following, watching them. We've had that this entire time. Something has been following us. Something has been watching us, either through the devices that were in our hotel room, the girl that was on top of the trailer, the boy with the Mexican wrestler mask. We've been watched and pursued this entire time. I'm going to double down on the cave because I feel like I'm so close to solving whatever this is. There's whatever it is, it's right in front of me. I can sink my teeth into it. I just know I'm going to double down and head into the cave.
Whatever they did or found that ripped this hole wider, we can do backwards or undo to zip it up.
Okay, well then let's pull as much cable as we can. Let's take a cat nap and wait for sunrise.
In the meantime, we can watch one of these tapes.
I think we should do this at night.
The fuck we can. The fuck you on about? That sounds bad.
I think we should be in this cave when the sun sets. I think we should be here at night.
Okay. We'll all be tied to the Airstream.
No. Okay. Tied to the... Okay, so we're all tied now to the thing.
Shouldn't we all go in together? Or do you want me to stay out with the equipment?
No, we can all go in together. That sounds good.
I think we could pull enough cables. There's like several of those boxes outside the Airstream.
We don't necessarily have to go that deep. We just go right in the... Wave at the camera. We just go right in, just in the front. And just a little bit.
Isn't that where the drawings were?
Mm-hmm.
On the wall?
She's like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. Nighttime.
You're having this conversation right in front of the cave entrance.
We
like
are
a gash in the rock of this ridge line, and the light from You're in the middle of your late day, and the light from late day gives just a little bit of illumination into the cave. And even from that illumination, you can see some drawings, some markings on the walls on either side of that cave entrance. And then it goes off into darkness. There is a cable that is running out of the cave, and it is spooled and not connected to anything outside, but spooled and set to one side. And let me see if I understand what's just happened. You have traversed this great 100-foot plane, had this conversation because it was slow going.
Yeah.
And now you have gotten to the cave mouth, and you are now going to go back to the airstream. Is that what you are planning on doing now? You've talked yourself out of going to the cave during day.
No. Well, yeah. The Megan has.
We're already here. While we're here, we do a little explore. We come back out. We can come later too.
Let's use this cable. Let's find where this cable goes. Who did Simon or Lucas leave it? Probably Simon.
So we just hold on to it and walk.
Yeah, and follow it. I mean, if you want, we can wrap it around the Airstream's like tire, but I mean, it's already here.
Mm-hmm. That sounds great.
There's still probably what, like 200 feet of cable or something on the spool.
It's a spool. It looks like a lot. You'd have to unwind it, and it also goes in. And then when you get closer, Crystal, it's two cables sort of wound together on one spool, and you think it's probably power and video.
Right. So we can find the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna head in.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I grab the wire because I'm gonna hang on to it so I don't get lost in here.
So are you like putting your tapes in the back of your pants?
I have two arms. Don't try to come up behind me and snatch my tapes, Crystal.
Did you shove the Odyssey tapes into your armpits? Is that, and then...
Yeah, I'm clutching.
Yeah, but aren't they so sweaty? They're gonna like banana peel out. Like
my school bag, my school books are clutched, and I have a I have a cord cable in my hand.
You walk in. It's really dark.
Thanks.
You wait for your eyes to adjust. And even when they adjust, it's still really dark. Do you have a light source of any kind or shape?
Cell phones back then didn't have the flashlights on them. So just the illumination from the screen itself is probably what I'm working with.
My Razor flip phone.
Megan has a light source. We went grocery shopping before we came out here. We got flares and everything else. Yeah, we've got a light source. I forgot we went shopping 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, you hit that Circle K.
Yeah,
and you got adventuring supplies.
We've got light sources, yeah.
You even mentioned a 50-foot spool of rope. They didn't have one, but you were looking for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I'll pull out this little mini flashlight and start being around.
And so you each have your own flashlights, say, but Jordan probably can't handle one because she has so many things in all of her 2 hands. And now that you get inside, you can see the cable. It goes right to a movie camera set up on a tripod. This is one room, and your light is dim, but it will pick out all the different edges of this room. It's not huge. It's maybe 20, 30 feet long from that entrance that you're in. The ceiling is pretty low as well, maybe 10 feet. You look up, and there's no stalagmites holding tight to the ceiling. There's no stalagmites on the floor. So none of that. It's either not that kind of cave, or those were cleared out. So what you can see now from those drawings that you were seeing outside, there are both carvings in the wall and also paintings. that have been painted with maybe red ochre, black charcoal. And because it's protected, those paintings are still intact. A number of them look just like you have seen before, either your own studies, school, books, Native American paintings. And you see a few of those, but a lot of them don't look like that at all. And we're going to set the scene a little bit. The carvings that are typical for the type of Native American cave art found in this area give you a sense of, okay, good, normality. This is what we'd expect. This is why you'd send a documentary crew out, is to look at something like this. This is a site of cultural, historical significance. But there is, in one corner of the cave, and maybe Megan, your light, or Crystal, your light picks it out, and then you go back to it, something's wrong. It looks like it was painted at the same time with the same sorts of pigments, but the scene depicts something that is not right for the time period. What is that? Anachronistic. It's anachronistic. It's something newer than should exist in this depiction. And Jordan, what do you see in that? As all the flashlights sort of center on this weird part of it, what do you see that seems out of place or newer than what should exist in this painting?
My brain immediately goes to some sort of technology, and I want to say car.
You see a shape that looks like it is a car.
Yeah.
The outline, it's got two wheels. That's ridiculous, but I swear that's what you're seeing. Crystal, what do you see? You see something different.
I see three figures that look really creepy and Slender Man-ish, like around a TV.
Yes. So these tall, unnaturally long limbs, and they're clustered around a box. And it's just a box, but then the box is picked out. The center of it is a lighter shade. It's not white but it's a lighter shade, and you realize, it's that. I swear that looks like that doesn't make any sense. It looks like a TV. Megan, what do you see that doesn't compute?
As my flashlight is sweeping and the car comes into illumination, the television with the three slender figures comes into view, my flashlight begins to kind of tremble in my hand, and I don't yelp as much as I just kind of like grunt with discomfort, because just left to those two images is the exact same depiction, except for they're inverted and they're turned upside down. They're this horrifying reflection of the original images with the car, the television, the Slender Man, almost like they're a distorted mirror image of each other facing each other, just to the left of what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. And Megan, I'm going to say it's a little bit worse than that, because on that mirror image depiction, one of those distorted, overly long-limbed figures that's painted out, shoved into that figure's armpit, two little boxes. It's carrying something.
No, it's not. Nope. Don't like it.
Oh, I hate it so much. Oh, I hate it so much.
This is wrong, Megan. This is wrong. We shouldn't be here. It should know that we're here. Why does it know that we're here? That's us, right? That's us. That's us. Why does it know that we're here? Why were we already here? Are we going to be here? Why does it know?
Or maybe we never left.
I don't like that either. like some sort of loop tie. I don't know. It's I don't like that at all. Can I'm gonna destroy it unless someone stops me. I'm gonna try to smear stuff on it.
So you
I
walk
don't
over
know
towards. Oh, go ahead, Crystal.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't know if that's a good idea, but I don't know that I'd stop her either. I might be like
We
half
disappear.
hand up, like,
So Jordan, you go to just sort of wipe it off at first, and there's a little bit of, it's almost like an embossed nature to some of it, but the mirror image side that Megan had picked up, it smears. It shouldn't smear. It should be fixed on that wall. It's been there hundreds of years, hasn't it? But that mirror image side smears, and it's comes off, and it's this reddish dust
Oh
on your
God.
hand.
It's the dust. It's the dust. I'm starting like rub my hands on my pants,
Yep.
trying to get it off of my hands. Get off. Does anyone have any water? Any water? I've taped some on his shoulder. I just pour water on my
It's
hands.
smearing on your sweaty body.
No,
And now you've painted
like
yourself down with this dust. It's grinding in.
Water.
I'm just backing away. Like,
What's wrong?
Nope. No, thank you.
Jordan, I need you to take the condition filthy.
Here we go.
Because this is, as you wiped it on yourself and some of your clothes, but also, I mean, you had all made concessions to the heat, and it paints your skin. And Crystal, the area that she smears, that Jordan smears, all these walls, they're very busy and they're very full of carvings, engravings, paintings. And that area is just as full. There's nothing that looks out of place. It didn't look like it was set aside and left. But that smearing, there's no good reason. There's no logical reason for that to happen.
Oh,
do these cables go further in?
It looks just like one largish cavern.
Okay.
You don't see any openings, any holes. It just looks like this one chamber.
Does that tripod with the camera on it have a viewing screen, a playback screen?
It does not, but if you take a look at it, it has a tape in it.
So I'm going to reach in, and of course I'm going to grab out the tape.
So it's a mechanical eject, which is good because this thing requires power. And the cable stretches out and you pull out a tape, and it has that distinctive purple and that distinctive triangle. There's no clamshell. You look around, but you're holding an Odyssey tape in your hand.
Has it been labeled?
It has been labeled. Let me go grab it. The Odyssey tape names are great, so I want to make sure. Yes, it is, and I'll post this in chat for you as well. But the name is Blam! 03. Everybody, Blam! I
hate it.
And the blams are capitalized, all caps.
Blam 03, everyone. Blam.
So we have what, 2 tapes to watch?
Yeah, we have 3 tapes now. I'm just staring at the tape. 3 of them. And that one's not protected, so just be careful. Don't let anything get in it. Please.
Well, we watched one of them.
Yeah, we watched Affirmation 04. Maybe we could take that out and put that one in because we haven't seen that one yet. We could put it in the case. where it'd be safe. Just a thought. We still have my collection and Blam 03, Everybody Blam to watch.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we staying in here?
I'd prefer not to.
Same.
We do have, just a thought, other places to investigate. Not necessarily right now, because we could just stay outside the caves and then listen for things and watch that tape. But we did at one point talk about looking into town records and the library just for weird stuff. Maybe this has happened before. Who knows? Just a thought.
The Airstream doesn't have power, so we can't watch the tapes.
I can drive really fast.
So that you can shower?
Sure.
I don't like the stuff.
I love driving through the desert at night where there's no streetlights and it's dark and there's shadows everywhere.
Megan?
I have never felt this hopeless before. I don't know what we should do next. We need to
Do
watch
they have
the
like
tapes,
we do.
and I really think we should be here in the cave at sunset. But
Well, they had a lot of like tech stuff in the Airstream, right? It's not like this is a designated camping spot with power and electrical hookups, but they had to have a generator.
Yeah, they would have had to have had something.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
I think we should sleep here tonight. I know you guys don't want to, and I can't explain why I feel it. I'm not saying we have to sleep in the cave, but if we can get the power onto the Airstream, we can watch the tapes. We can hopefully get some air conditioning circulating, and maybe we sleep out here tonight.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know if the VCR needs power to. This is dumb, but I don't even know if the VCR needs power to watch an Odyssey tape. Is that crazy?
No, considering they rewind themselves.
No, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think anything's crazy anymore.
Okay.
I'm going to kneel down. I'm just going to run my hand through that same red muck of the opposite, the mirror side. And
It
because
comes
I have to
off on
try
your
it,
hand.
it comes off on my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use
Smears.
my opposite hand to try to smear the other side, knowing that it won't work, but I am just going to try it.
And you touch the opposite side, and you can feel sort of that 3D raised nature of some of the, but no, there's nothing to smear. It's long dried.
I'm going to go see if I can get that generator running, or see if it has a generator.
Okay.
And as you leave, is anyone leaving with Megan, or Megan going by herself?
No, I think we'll all go.
Oh, okay. So you all three make your assisted way back, and already with some movement, Crystal, both your knees are starting to loosen up a little bit.
Good.
You can feel, it doesn't feel like permanent damage. It just feels like, man, that's a sprain. And so you're feeling a little bit of relief about that. Jordan, I think your eye is just drawn towards that Naked Odyssey tape that Megan has, maybe plotting. Megan, your eye is drawn towards one engraving that you see on the left side of the door as you're leaving. And maybe your flashlight just flashes across it briefly. And it is a image of, it looks like a huntress. And this looks like one of the Native American engravings, more normal, nothing otherworldly, but you can't shake the feeling that you've seen this before, this long black hair and sort of covering the face a little bit of this huntress in what looks like a sort of a long dress. And as you are just leaving that cave, it hits you that it's a spitting image of that assistant that you saw on the Odyssey tape. in a very different context.
In a very, very different context.
And you make your way back to the Airstream. The generator's around on the back of it. And it's been, there's sand and everything piled up a little bit on it. So maybe you clean it off a little bit.
Yeah.
You check, and it looks to be about a third full with diesel.
Good.
And you give it some prime, and it's got a pull start, and you pull it a couple times, and on the third time it starts to slowly turn over, chunk 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 chunk, dun, 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 dun. And then that sound fills the campsite. It's very familiar. It's the sound from Texas Chainsaw and the house there that is in the background of the entire movie. That begins, but a light goes on in the Airstream as soon as the generator starts up, and there's a thick power cable that's hooked up to its input. You have power.
Okay.
So let me get a sense of the plan. You were all three of you going to stay here.
We're sleeping here
Yes.
tonight. Yes.
And you are going to be sleeping in the Airstream, or you're going to be sleeping in the cave.
Airstream. Starting off.
Airstream.
Okay.
All
No,
of
we're
okay.
us
probably
are
gonna
like
wake up in the
Airstream.
cave, like hanging upside down.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly. Yeah.
but we're gonna start in the Airstream, Nate, if that's okay.
Okay.
I
we're gonna-
sleepwalked out
Oh, yeah.
to the fucking cave.
We're
It's
gonna
all-
watch
yeah.
it. We're gonna watch a tape, and then we'll see if we're gonna sleep.
Right.
What are you eating? Probably pretty hungry at this point.
Dirt.
There's food in the
don't
car,
know.
honey. We got fruit and
Oh,
snacks
yeah,
and granolas. We
snacks.
went grocery shopping.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We'll run to the car. I'll pull the car closer.
you.
Pull the car closer,
Yep.
and I will unload the groceries.
Oh yeah, because we got like trail mix and,
And
yeah,
water
things that.
and yep.
Mhm.
Mm. You gonna do this inside the Airstream? Like, paint the scene for me. Are you cleaning off that fire pit and doing like what's three ladies in the desert
For our
by the
hot
haunted
granola
cave
bars.
look like?
We need hot granola bars, Nate.
You can melt those chocolate
Ugh.
chip ones a little
This
bit.
is not a fucking camping trip. This is work.
All
Um,
right.
We're probably gonna just pile up all the papers in the Airstream and make a space for us.
Okay. And remember, there is that bed in
No.
the back.
Nope. I will be putting
Oh,
the table down and putting the cushions down on the table to make a smaller bed, as one does in the camper.
Okay.
Yeah, because the bed's been marked, hasn't it?
It's a little dirty. Yeah, it's a little marked. And Jordan, that is harder than it should be, because it doesn't seem to have been done in this Airstream for a long time. Like, I think
Mhm.
they've probably had, and you do have to dig a little bit. You do have to go into that back bedroom to find a couple of those cushions, but you do find them. They're not in the shelving area where they would normally be. That is full of more papers and files and tapes and things like that. Megan, you find a clamshell case if you want to protect your Odyssey tape.
Of course. Yes.
You eat, you consider your day's events, and you come to dusk, where I believe you've all decided you're going to watch an Odyssey tape
At
tonight.
night, we are.
And so I will ask you this question. Do you want to watch this Odyssey tape now, or do you want to watch it next time we stream?
Ooh.
I think we should open with it.
I think we should open with it too.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's a
because
lot of
we've
fun
got 5
options that
minutes.
we can do with that. Yeah.
Mhm. Which Odyssey tape? So I'll ask you the second question. I'll lie immediately and ask another question when I told you I was only going to ask one. Which
Mhm.
Odyssey tape are you going to watch?
It has to be Blam.
It has to be Blam.
It
Yeah.
has to be Blam.
Yeah.
All right.
Because
You're
of
gonna
where we
watch.
found it.
Where we found it. Yep.
And as night falls on Deep Lake, all three of you suddenly remember you've seen this show before. Maybe not this episode, you'll see, but you remember, oh, Blam. Blam was a show for kids, and that's why you were allowed to watch it. I think you all watched all the shows, but this one you were actually allowed to watch by the parents. As latchkeys, there were rules, and then those rules were all optional because there was no one to really enforce. And so you knew that there were rules and you just decided what you would and wouldn't do. But Blam was an educational show for kids. It had a rotating cast. It was called Blam because the members were called Blammers. And the Blammers participated in short, usually book discussions. Here's a book, and they get around table and they discuss it and talk about it. And then there's demos, performances, and things like that. So as that memory sort of floods, real quick from all three of you, starting with Crystal, what book do you remember?
Ooh.
From that was covered in Blam? Or maybe what movie, film, but what thing do you remember covered by the Blammers?
Ooh, this is a hard one. Okay. Probably a trilogy of books all related to um space and black holes.
Yes. Yes. Jordan, what do you remember covered by the Blammers?
It was like a weird, like an alternate version of the Boxcar Children, and it was called the Children Under the Bridge.
Really, Miranda?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I couldn't have come up with that better myself.
Not as fortunate as those Boxcar Children.
Really? Really?
Megan, what do you remember?
I think the Blammers are one of the shows that originally put me onto my forestry path. At least that brought it to my awareness that you can make a career out of doing things outside. I think the Blammer episode that I remember was a spinoff of Smokey the Bear.
Nice.
But it covered things, more than just how to prevent wildfires. There's a particularly fun pick up no litter episode that I really enjoyed.
Nice. Maybe you share some of these memories. Maybe you don't, as you get ready to watch another one of these Odyssey tapes. Jordan probably a quiver with excitement. The rest of you, who knows? And night falls on Deep Lake, and the night is busy. And as our camera maybe lifts and moves towards the right, and we see the town and the neighborhoods laid out, and lights going off as early sleepers retire to bed. In one of these houses, someone, do you hear that, honey? And as the lawnmower in the garage fires up, and the husband is going to go out and see what's going on out there. And another house down the street from them, the kid is screaming in bed, and the parents look at each other and say, no, we have to just we can't keep going to the baby every single time. The baby has to learn to comfort itself. And this time the kid is screaming with a different timbre, and there's sort of a shadowy figure at the window looking in. And in another house, we can see something, looks like maybe a 12-year-old child, long blonde hair, creeping along the roof, heading over towards an access panel into the attic of a home. And Deep Lake is busy this night. It's got a lot of company. There's a lot of visitation. And I think that's where we will call our episode to a close. Thank you.
And that, friends of the Symphony, is where this show ends for tonight. Thank you so much to everyone who joined in or is currently watching the replay. You are indeed the best part of waking up. If you enjoyed this content, please consider backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. We hope you guys have enjoyed the Symphony, and we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. We will see you back in Deep Lake in 2 weeks for the finale. Whew. Good night, guys.